Hi, folks. Nilesh here from the Waterbridge Ventures investment team. Hope you're all doing well. Wanted to do a very quick session with you today on the Waterbridge Fast Forward application process. As you may have heard, Fast Forward is our seed investment program where we look to invest up to $1 million US dollars into early stage tech companies from Waterbridge Ventures. Waterbridge, we're early stage VC investors. We invest into startups in the earliest rounds of funding, seed, pre-A, Series A. And Fast Forward is really our version of tackling the seed part of that equation. The session I want to do today was just basically take you through what the Waterbridge Fast Forward application process looks like, walk through the application, talk about each question, what we're looking for from the application and from applicants and founders in particular. So what I'm going to do is, without any further ado, go ahead and just share my screen and jump right into what this looks like. So the first thing I'd actually say is most of the information that we have is most frequently updated on LinkedIn. So I would actually urge all founders to stay up to date with this LinkedIn page. Follow us. We put out a lot of information on Fast Forward, what we're looking for, the kind of deals that we're interested in. So first hint through this kind of entire process is to just stay on LinkedIn, just watch us, watch out for things that we're putting out. What I'm going to do is just go through the posts that we have out and just pick up one of the more later ones and just take you through the process. So, as we're constantly talking about Fast Forward, we're talking about our partners. We have an example here with our good friends at Exemius. But really what I wanted to do today was just jump right into the application process. And as you see right here, we have actually opened the application link and you can apply for seed funding as of today. So we're inviting all founders and applicants to start writing to us, start filling in the form. This is one of those programs that's rolling. It's a rolling accelerated funding program. So the sooner you get to us, the sooner we can evaluate your ideas and the sooner we can get to actually an outcome. So what I'm going to do here is just pop this right here. It's going to open up the fast forward link, and this is what our application form looks like. As you'll see, there's a lot of information we've tried to put here as well. So we have our FAQs, we have articles on why and how we decide so quickly. So, again, directing you back to LinkedIn, but the idea is to basically try and put as much information as we can out there about what we're looking for, what kind of founders we believe in, what kind of markets we believe in. So you'll find a lot of information on our sector preferences, our thesis segments, and things that we're looking for in the application. So urge all founders to kind of read through the FAQs and how do we decide so quickly article. But what I'm going to do today is just kind of go through a demo application, talk about each question, what the intent behind each question really is, and hopefully that's useful for you. So, we'll start off with, a figment of, I guess, a company that doesn't exist. I'm going to call it Waterbridge LLC. And the purpose here is to just get a complete legal name of the company. Sometimes the brand and the actual company that's recorded for the ROC are different. So we put kind of two forms here to give you that optionality to tell us, what is the legal name and also what is the brand. So in this case, we'll just create a company called Waterbridge LLC. We'll say that's the, in the ROC, that's the legal name. And the brand that we have is actually Waterbridge Ventures. So type, okay. That's the name of the company that we have. That's the brand name, and that's the legal name. We have simple stuff like what's your name, first name, last name, just to kind of get an idea of who you are. And this piece here is really quite important. We try and communicate as much as we can on email, and one of the ways we try and make sure nothing goes into spam is actually have a verification. So you can actually put in your actual email. You'll get an email from us, and the idea is that you put in the confirmation code. So we're pretty confident that emails, once we send it to you, will actually reach you, because we've actually had some experiences in the past where that didn't happen. So the idea of this field is to really just make sure we have your email verified, and this is what the email looks like. So just copy it once, pop it in here, and that's all this question looks for. So email has been verified, you're ready to go. I think the question here is, how did you hear about the Waterbridge Fast Forward program? This is one of the ways we're trying to get better, trying to put out more information, and giving us a hint on where you heard about us and what channel worked, helps us kind of refine how we reach out to you. So in this case, I'm going to use LinkedIn, which is how we found this particular link as our channel. I think this referral tab that you find here, very interesting. I think many of we have a lot of great folks out there who are talking about us, who are trying to help us find the right deal. So if anyone has referred you to the program, would be great to name them here. So in this case, I'm going to name Mohini from WeWork as an example of someone who has helped kind of refer a refer a deal to us, or refer a deal to Fast Forward. So this just helps us again appreciate those people who help us find the right founders. Jumping right into kind of the meat of the form, the idea behind this form is to really try and front end a lot of the information that we need to kind of get to an outcome. So as you know, Fast Forward is one of those programs, or is the program where we will actually give you an answer within 7 days. So from your date of application, 7 days post that, we'll actually come back to you with a yes or no. And really the only way that we can do this is to front end all the information that we need, so we can take faster decisions. And so the idea here is we sat down as a team and thought about all the common questions that we usually ask, and the bare minimum information that we would need to kind of get to a point where you can take more nuanced views. And so the idea here is, all the questions that you'll find from this page onwards will all be regarding the company, will all be, information that almost every investor will ask for. So we'll start off with the most important people in any business, the founders. So in this case, I'm going to call myself a founder and say I'm maybe the CTO of this company. You'd want to put in your LinkedIn URL. So in this case, I'm going to put my own. And you'd want to kind of add this there so that we can actually take a look at who you are, and open up your LinkedIn. So drop your LinkedIn in there. I'm a master's from Duke University, so I'm going to just write down what I did. In fact, what I should say is, this tab here just gives us a sense of who you are, what you've gone through, and how many years of experience you've actually had. So it just helps us understand, are you someone who comes with a lot of experience, or someone who is just starting off, just to help us baseline who the founder is. So I have about, maybe let's call it 9 years of experience. My previous employers, I've only worked at startups. So Sirocco is one of them. Airwatch is another. And I would just list down the startups that I've worked for, and some large companies as well. So I've also worked at VMware. So just write down all the previous employers that you've had, and that will give us a sense of your past experience. We'll collaborate that obviously with the LinkedIn URL that you put there. In terms of shareholding percentage, this is a good way for us to kind of know who's on the equity table, how much skin in the game each founder has. So in this case, I'll say I'm a 50% shareholder. I'll add another colleague of mine, Nihar, as the CEO, and we'll put his URL here, and really the idea is the same, which is how do you get, just help us verify that this is the same person who's applying, and the person we see on LinkedIn. Sometimes we see people have similar names or the exact same name, so this helps us do that. Niyar is an MBA, and he's from, let's just say, Harvard. I'm just not where he's really from, but I'm going to call him a MBA from Harvard. But Nihar has, let's call it 20 years of experience, and his previous employers were Apple and Google. I'm just calling names, any old name, and 50% shareholding. So this basically helps us build a cap table in the back end. It gives us a sense of who you are, tells us, this is who we can actually refer to LinkedIn to get a better sense of what your past experiences have been, and really start guesstimating what the founding team brings to the table. So that's the purpose of these questions here. The short business description and the elevator pitch is a very short kind of 1 to 2 sentences about what you're building. I think the idea here is to try and be as crisp as possible. You want to try and get the information out, and not really describe the entire business, but just talk a little bit about what your business is. So I'll just make it up that we're an edtech company. Let's just say we're an edtech company working to help K-12 students learn physics. We work via digital channels and use, that's the bare minimum, right? Where we help you learn physics when we have tech space, and we use digital channels and product like that. So it's a very short and sweet kind of elevator pitch, if you will. I've used only 21 characters. You have up to 160, so you can think of it as describe it within a tweet or 2 tweets. Here it's just a quick descriptor of what the business is. When you talk about how the founding team met, I think here more often than not, one kind of note that we usually see is there's always a story behind how the founding team meets, and why they've kind of embarked on this particular journey. And this is a good place to kind of put that in. The idea, the actual outcome we're trying to get to is, what is it that this team has together? What is the sauce that binds them together? Because there's so much stress and strain during the entrepreneurial journey that you really want to know, why is it that these 2 people or 3 people or how many ever folks are working together? What will keep them together when the times are tough? And where did the genesis of this idea come from? Of course, there are sole founders, and in case you are a sole founder, please feel free to elaborate on why why that is the case. Sometimes it's just the nature of the business. Sometimes that's how you work. But we would just love to kind of know a little bit more about the founding team per se, and who's kind of building this. So in this case, let's say met Nihar at a previous employer. We have shared interest and love physics. Of course, this is a very simplistic, made up example, but ideally you'd want to kind of flesh this out a little bit more. Talk a little bit more about what is the bind that puts you all together. Why would you love to kind of, in this case, work with Nihar on kind of this physics problem? So yeah, just tell us how the founding team met. Tell us why you chose to work together and what's the source that binds you. That's the outcome we're looking for from this piece. The next question we have is about founder market fit and the beauty of entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship obviously is such an uh, expensive proposition in that there's so much more opportunity cost, right? Really smart founders can work on multiple problems, can work jobs, can work as freelancers. So really, here the purpose of this question, as it describes it, is to figure out why is entrepreneurship so important to you, and what is it that drives you to kind of make those sacrifices, especially given that the kind of failure rate is so high here. What is it from your experience, or what is it from your kind of background that has pushed you towards entrepreneurship, and why is it this is something you want to do, dedicate the next 10, 20, 30 years of your life towards? So I use this space to kind of help us understand what is it about the founding team that again will make them backable, and what is it about the founding team that will give us confidence that down the line when the going gets tough, they're going to continue to do this. What is the mission of this team? So in this case, I'm just going to write test, because I can't think of anything intelligent at the moment. But the idea here is that you fill in um, something very detailed. That's something that we can read. Um, when you move over to the number of employees, this is just a quick sanity check to know, is it a very large business organization? Is it a small business organization? In my fictional example, I'm going to say there's just four of us building with Nihar. So I'm just going to add that there. Incorporation here, it's very simple data point, which is when did you start? When do you start the business? Domicile, are you based out of which city are you based out of? We'll say we're based out of Bangalore. Company website, another great way to really just double check that we're looking at the right website. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to make sure that we're on the right page. Sometimes we might miss out. So reference your website. Put that there. The company stage gives us a sense of where you are. Typically speaking, idea stage companies are a bit of a tough one for us, because as beautiful as that may be from a philosophical standpoint, I think it's really important that you get some level of market feedback. So we always look at post MVP businesses. So your business may either be post MVP pre-product, which is you have the idea, you know what it is, you're just building that product out, and again, this is early stage, so we understand you may not have the product ready, but just mark that here. Could be pre-revenue, or it could be fully blown revenue earning. So in this case, I'm going to say this is a pre-revenue company. We've gone past the MVP. We have a product. We're just going to start monetizing. GTM is pretty easy to understand. Who do you sell to? Is it a B2B, B2C, or B2B2C? Of course, there are multiple other iterations of this, like selling to government, selling to other kind of organizations. But broadly speaking, is it an organization you're selling to, or an individual? Or are you eventually using an organization to get to an individual is what we're looking for. So in this case, I'm going to say it's a B2C GTM in this example. Um, I think what we put here is try to figure out, what is the best way for us to allocate, your application as it comes in. And many of us in the team have certain areas of expertise. So, the idea here is to kind of outline 6 large sectors. And, if you click on this link, um, you'll actually see that we have, again, the article around, what is the thesis and the sectors that we like, and what does each one of those mean. So urge you to kind of read through this to get a sense of where our minds are at. But usually we boil the world down into 6 large sectors. So pick the one that actually fits you as closely as possible. Sometimes, of course, there are overlaps and something may not perfectly fit into a particular sector, but as best as possible, try and pick one of these 6. So I'm going to say, we're in a tech company selling K-12 EdTech. So I'm within EdTech, I'm doing K-12 EdTech. That's what my company fits. I said we're a pre-revenue company, so we ideally should not have any revenue. So I'm going to say 0 here. But if you have revenue, it would be great if you could convert to USD, and thousands of USD is the unit that we have here. So just specify the annual revenue. Of course, it would be annualized. Take a monthly number into 12 would give you the annual revenue. Um, and that's really what this question is about. You can paste your link for an iOS and Android app. If you're on the App Store, if you actually have a way or Figma link for us to kind of look at it, please drop that in here. Daily active users and monthly active users are very relevant for B2C businesses in particular. If you're B2B and you're kind of doing a different type of business where activity and users on the app are not directly correlated, then this may not make sense. You can just put a zero for these two. But let's just say in this case, I'm an EdTech app. I'm selling to students in the K-12 segment. I have some daily active users and monthly active. And really what we're trying to get out of this is, how many users are using this application daily and how many are using it monthly. And that's a way to benchmark in our minds where this is on the PMF scale, if you will. So I take an example and say, 25,000 daily active users, and we'd say 200,000 monthly active users, right? That means 200 monthly and 25,000. Am I missing a zero? Yes, I am. Okay, 200,000 monthly active users. Total downloads of the app, another kind of data point for us. So I'm just going to put in a number, a very large number. But anyway, that's what we have here. Moving forward, I guess if there are any accolades or any product mock-ups or anything that you wanted to share on the product side, this is a great place for you to kind of just drop that in and kind of have that information there. Yeah, this is a great place for you to kind of share a little bit about accolades, recognitions that you've had. Any blogs, articles, any thought leadership pieces. This is a great area for you to kind of put that in. If you've been part of any accelerator incubator programs with or without equity, please let us know. And finally, if you have actually applied to the Fast Forward program earlier, please do let us know. This would help us. If you have applied in the previous iterations, this can help us kind of look at your old application and your new application and look at kind of the evolution from before. So if you have applied before, please let us know. In this case, I'm going to say no and move to the next page. And on the next page, we're talking a little bit more about, again, the business and in particular about competition. So the idea behind this question is to really try and guesstimate and quickly understand, what is the business without talking to the founder. So in this case, maybe you can talk about one local and one global competitor that you admire. So, teaching physics, we can say Physics Wala is a local competitor that, that we really like. And globally, we can say, but let's just say US Physics Wala. But the idea here is, someone reading the application be like, okay, they're like Physics Wala, they're competing with Physics Wala, they're doing something very different, which is, using product-led growth, using a different marketing hack, using different technology to kind of get to the same market. But almost always any business or any space which is worth building for, there will be some similar businesses or some competitors. So if you don't have any competitors, that's totally fine as well. But more often than not, we would get to the answer if there are competitors out there. So if you have any top of mind and just let us know. That'll help us kind of get a better sense of who you are and what you're building. I think the next set of questions is about the business in particular. So who is your paying customer? What kind of revenue model do you have, and where do you see revenue coming from? Right. I think this is a field which will help you kind of make differences between maybe Physics Wala is attracting a different market. Maybe your paying customer is different, and maybe the way that you're charging for this is different. So I'm going to say K-12 students, India, non-metro is who I'm teaching. As my paying customer, and revenue model, I'm going to say is advertising driven. So of course, this is a very short answer, but please fill this out with as much detail as possible. Try and fill out all the three questions here, which is who is your paying customer, talk a little bit about their persona, talk a little bit about why they're using your kind of product, how you're actually charging them. So is it, advertising driven? Is there a monetization? If so, at what price point? And help us kind of understand a bit more about, what the revenue looks like. What are revenues today? What will revenues look like tomorrow? Just to try and get a sense of how large of a value prop you're looking to build. And finally, I think the last question on this page here is to talk a little bit about the business metrics. I know three is usually a good number, but the three most important metrics in your business that kind of show the scale and size of it. So in this case, I would say daily active users, monthly active users, and content pieces would be the three most for an edtech company. So I would say, we said our 25K was the daily active users that we had, 200K was the monthly active users that we had, and live content pieces or content pieces we've created, I'll just say, 100,000 content pieces is what we have. And, you can use this area to talk about, what does activity mean in this context, in this business? What is activity? What is a user kind of validating by opening it on a daily basis or a monthly basis? And why are these three metrics important? I think that'll help us also get to appreciating a little bit more about what your scale looks like, and also have confidence, right, that the team is looking at the right metrics as they're building a business. So that's what this question's about. I think we're now moving into a little bit more about your current cap table and what kind of money has already gone into the business. So if you have raised external capital, please tell us how much that is. In this example, I'm going to say we have not raised any external capital. And if you have raised capital, you can talk about, who the source of the capital was. So is it friends and family, accelerators, early stage VCs? Just let us know. That helps us on our back end. So I'm going to say we have no external investors. And coming back into what kind of capital you can raise, right? Waterbridge Fast Forward, we have two kind of separate buckets. We have a under 500K bucket, and we have a 500K to $1 million dollar bucket. So in this case, I'm going to say we want to raise under 500K. We've not raised before, so that's a good starting point for us in seed. That will help us kind of bucket you into the right, because as you raise more capital, you'll have different requirements, right? The closer you are to 1 million, the more kind of the PMF burden increases. The lower you are, the more it's about the founders and the idea. So the bar kind of changes as you raise more and more capital, which I'm sure you all know anyway. So the last two is about the actual pitch deck and the MIS. So you just attach your pitch deck, attach your MIS. I'm going to attach a pitch deck here, the MIS. I think it has exceeded 5 MB. So yeah, the reason it didn't take was because the size was larger than what is allowed. So keep it up to 5 MB. We'll attach basically a single deck that explains who your company is, your usual pitch deck, what you're looking to build, and also the related metrics. The kind of MIS basically represents the metrics that you have on a month by month, or week by week, whatever the right time frame is, across various matrices. So in this case, in a tech company, you'll want to know daily active, monthly active pieces of content as they're happening through the months in an Excel sheet with that fleshed out. This section here, the video pitch, is actually one of my favorite sections, and something that I actually use more than any other section, which is it's so difficult sometimes to kind of go through reams of applications without actually knowing what the founder looks and feels like. We're all humans at the end of the day. So if you can take some time to kind of record a video pitch less than 5 minutes, it helps us also put a name and a face and a voice to the application. So would encourage all founders to take some time. It can be it doesn't have to look professional. You don't have to have good lighting. It can just literally be, hi, my name is Nilesh. I'm building this edtech company. This is why I'm building it. Just humanize it a little bit. It helps kind of us on the other end also realize and see a little bit more of who you are prior to getting on the call. So use this section to talk a little bit about the video pitch. Again, it can be a short one, less than 5 minutes. Not sticklers for like red lighting or anything like that. Finally, this last section here is about any additional information that you have, anything that can help you, help us evaluate you a little bit better. You can just drop that in. It's just a file upload. So anything that you have that will be useful, you can have here. And that's it. I think that's the entire application. We have a little disclaimer here, so I urge you to kind of read through this and also check out our partners. But at the end of it, you can review all the answers before hitting submit. Just make sure there are no issues. If there are, you can always go back and update and change them. But the idea is we wanted to kind of make this as short and sweet as possible, try and capture as much information as we could up front. And that really helps us kind of get to giving you that 7-day turnaround. So yeah, once you hit submit, you'll just basically, your application will be put in. You'll get an email from us acknowledging that we have gotten your application. And yeah, that's all I have. That's all I have for you today. So yeah, thank you so much for your time today. Reach out to any of us on the team if you have any questions around what the fast forward program looks like, or any particular part of what I spoke about today. I think we will have a bunch of Ask Me Anything AMA sessions, sometimes live, sometimes recorded. So encourage you to attend those. Frequently answered questions and frequently asked questions are things that we're trying to get better about and put out a little bit more. So interact with us as much as you can. Interact with us on whatever questions you have, and look forward to seeing your applications. Thank you so much.